Are you wondering why you should declutter at midlife? Stay tuned because I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should be decluttering right now. Well, hey there, welcome back. My name is Cat Coluccio. If this is the first time that you're here on this channel, thanks for visiting. Make sure that you hit subscribe. If you're returning, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure that you hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video drops. Now, I've been talking a lot about decluttering. In fact, I've even launched a 30-day Love Your Home Decluttering Challenge. And I've had a few people saying to me, okay, but Kat, you talk a lot about midlife and side hustles and launching and reinventing. What has clutter got to do with any of this? Well, stay with me because clutter is actually something that can hold you back from so many things. It can create so much obstruction to you going on and trying the new things that you might be wanting to launch into. It's also overwhelming. It affects your productivity, and it's basically something that you need to deal with if you want to go about creating a midlife reinvention on any level. Clutter is something that is so pivotal to helping you make that amazing reinvention that I even dedicated 3 hacks to it in my latest book, 21 Hacks to Rock Your Midlife. It's so key. So let me give you now 3 tips of why you should be decluttering. Number 1, letting go of the clutter helps you let go of the past. When we hit midlife, women often suddenly discover that who they were the previous 20 years of child rearing and being the dutiful wife and doing all those things is suddenly changed. Their children are off to college, or they've moved out, or they're married with their own families. And chances are you're there going, what do I do now? You're surrounded by all of the photos and all the memories and all of the toys and all of the things that you've hung on to that were still making you remember those days that you loved when you were the mum with the young kiddies running around your feet. Now, there's nothing wrong with having certain things that you've hung on to from the past. And there's nothing wrong with having the odd hand-me-down knick-knack or special piece of china or jewelry that's been passed to you from your mother or your grandmother. But the problem comes when those things are filling your world up so much that they're holding you back from moving forward. Now, there's no shame here because my kids will tell you I'm one of those mums. I've been holding on to a number of things from my children, partly because, I loved them. I loved the drawings they did for me. I loved some of the really cool little Christmas things they made for me. But also partly because I felt obligated to in case they ever wanted them again. And what I've discovered now with children that are adults, they actually don't want that much kept for them. So if you can look around now and start seeing what is just simply clutter that you're hanging on to thinking it's the right thing to do, it's time to take action because let's face it, it's one less thing you need to dust. It's one less thing to distract you. It's one less thing to bring up all those memories and send you almost grieving and sorrowful about the life you used to have. Getting rid of some of these items, particularly a lot of sentimental things, is actually not the easiest thing to do. In fact, often a lot of the decluttering experts will tell you leave things like photos or mementos to the last part of your decluttering journey. And I tend to agree with that. It's like you build your muscles up first, decluttering the smaller areas or the areas that don't have that emotional connection like your bathroom sink. However, at some point, you do need to be looking around. And if you realize that you have an overflow of your grandmother's china that you never use, or an overflow of toys that your child loved when they were young, but there's no one here to play with them now, then that's the type of clutter that you need to be letting go of. And letting go of that will let you also let go of that era. You can still honor it. You can still remember it with love and warmth. But that time of life will no longer have that emotional sting because you're not seeing it every single day by the bits and pieces laying around the house. Letting go of clutter helps you let go of the past, honor it. You can still keep some parts of it, but it'll help you free up for what experiences you have to come. Number 2, creating space. When you declutter, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? Again, like I always say, it's not rocket science, but what I'm giving a nice, easy, practical tips. When you get rid of physical clutter, you obviously clear space. But you know something? It's more than the physical. It's like you clear space as well in your heart, in your mind. When you look at your schedules, you can clear space in those as well. When you clean up your computer and you file everything, you clear space. It's not so overwhelming. Because the problem with lots of clutter is that it makes you start to feel overwhelmed because everywhere you look, you're distracted by all these objects that should be elsewhere. And that's going to affect your productivity. You need to clear space, be it in your workspace, be it in your home life, to be able to actually rest, to regroup, to think, to not have constant clutter of noise or things around you. All of these things, when you can reduce those areas of clutter, will create the space that you can then either choose to fill with new things, new experiences, new things that you want to try, or you can leave them as they are and enjoy just having that space, that peace, that calm that comes with knowing that you don't actually have to get up and put things away or clean up or whatever. You can actually rest and just enjoy your space. Number 3, have you heard of Swedish death cleaning? When you let go of stuff, you're actually going to be helping your children and those left behind when you pass deal with their grief without having to also then having to clean up all your mess. You get objects now that are of value to you. You may have precious jewelry that were passed to you or precious items. And instead of waiting for you to die and then the family have to work out who it goes to, it's gifting them now, giving them special pieces now that they know that you thought of them and you want to gift them. It's not passing all your clutter onto your family, but it's just taking those couple of key items and actually gifting them to people now and then sorting through the rest so that your family aren't left with this massive pile of clothing, of objects, of knickknacks, of memories, of toys, of whatever that it is that you collect. Having to sort that as well as grieve your passing. Doing your own version of Swedish death cleaning is actually going to create less stress for you and way less stress for your family. And isn't that what you really want to leave them? So there you have it. There's 3 reasons why you should be decluttering at midlife. Now, trust me, there are so many more reasons I could give you, and I will actually be bringing that in more and more. But taking the time to declutter at this stage of life will absolutely clear the decks, so to speak, as you go into your next season. It's a way of just closing the door, closing the blinds, closing everything on that past season and lightening the load. So when you go into your next season, you're going in ready to try these new experiences, ready to go learn, ready to go serve, ready to go do what it is that you want to do with your midlife season without the burden of all that clutter holding you back, distracting you, or affecting your productivity. I hope that some of these tips have really landed for you today. I'd love to know which ones. So whatever's resonated with you, let me know. Leave a comment and make sure to grab my free workbook. It's my gift to you called 10 Hacks to Simplify Your Life. And as well, feel free to jump into my 30-day